It's time to get buzzed. Howard Bender, aka Roto Buzz Guy, is here to help you get through Thursday on Getting Buzzed. And now, please welcome to the virtual stage, Mr. Howard Bender.
Yeah, what up, everybody? Welcome in. Thanks for joining me here on Getting Buzzed. I am Howard Bender. And wow, how quickly the year goes by. It's December, 21st right now? And the Christmas holiday is coming up and the New Year is happening. So this is actually going to be our last episode of the 2023 calendar year. We will be back on January 4th, and we're going to be back in force on the 4th. We've got plans to break out even more great stuff here on this show in the new year. So again, thank you so much for being here. If you're watching on that Fantasy Alarm YouTube page, please hit that like and subscribe button. It's how we kind of move forward here through Fantasy Alarm and the Better Sports Network. So we always appreciate your guys' support. Looking over at the chat, I don't normally pay attention to the chat in this one here. I'm not answering you start sits, but I am saying, what up, Fatty McFats? Merry Christmas to you as well. No holiday decor here or anything like that. I don't, for anybody who knows me, I am not a holiday person. My birthday is the 26th. So y'all can shout me out for a happy birthday there on the 26th, but you'll all probably be dealing with the holiday season with your families, which is why I absolutely detest this time of year. It's not that I begrudge you guys at all. It's just that, I never got to bring cupcakes into school at elementary school. I never got to, have that birthday party with all my friends there because everybody was visiting their families for Christmas. So woe is me. It's something for my therapist couch, obviously. We're still working through a number of different issues and stuff like that. So it is on the list of things to come for my therapy. But listen, this show here, this is all about sports, or it's mostly about sports. We're having a fun time here for sure. Britt Flynn in here. You're my family too, Britt. I'm not coming to Arkansas, though. I love you guys, but I ain't coming to Arkansas. By the way, I hope your finger's okay. I heard you had a little finger thing going on there. So hope you're doing well. But here on the show, obviously, I like to say that this is sports talk with an edge. But if you've been with us here over the last, 6-7 months that we've been doing this show here, I've mixed it up with the guests. I've gotten some good people here from the sports world. I've gotten some great people here from the music world. And so having a great time with all of that. If this is the first time that you're joining us, again, I call this sports talk with an edge. But to me, this is more of your midday late night TV talk show, right? So you're sort of you're get to know people. I look behind the scenes with a lot of people and bring them from all walks of life. And it's to me, it's a talk show that, hey, yes, we do cover sports, but we also like to have a little fun and branch out into other areas. But I will talk sports right now because, as always, before we have anything that want to jump into the headlines right off the bat. Look at Adam Bernard, our producer extraordinaire. He's already Bender, shut up. Here's the tile. Nobody wants to see you, ugly mug. But yeah, headlines. Here we go for the 21st of December. I got to start it off here with, it's quietly making headlines. Obviously, the NFL dominates. We know that. We're used to it. But very quiet, very sneakily, if you guys aren't paying attention, Shohei Ohtani and the Los Angeles Dodgers are building a super team. Okay, we see this all the time, right? We see it in basketball, all these, NBA All-Stars just jumping from team to team because they all want to play with each other and they want to build this super team, right? We've seen, teams throw money at players and stuff and try to lure them in here and kind of bring that whole thing. So we've seen that whole super team thing. And, here it is, MLB, Shohei Ohtani, right? Deferring $68 million a year each year for 10 years. I don't necessarily know if anybody has Like that real, like that concept of just what that does for the team. For the long run, it's probably going to screw the team because come 10 years from now, think about where salaries are right now. Now think about, inflation in 10 years down the road, how bonkers it's going to get. Drop another 68 million onto that payroll right there for the Dodgers. It is crazy. There's going to be, they're obviously going to negotiate more deferrals, but the impact right now, this is where we're getting a super team. Did anybody hear Tyler Glasnow talking about when he was, meeting with the Dodgers and what his decision was for the Dodgers? It was not only could they pay him because Ohtani is only making $2 million a year. Think about that. Ohtani's making the same money as like a backup catcher. Austin Hedges. Think about that. He's making less money than Austin Hedges. It's crazy. So, of course, the Dodgers are going to be able to do it. And Ohtani is helping lead the way. He's setting that tone, right? Like, what does his deal speak to all pending free agents out there? It says, we got the money. And we're willing to like maneuver around to make sure that we get together what we want. And so when, and it was a very interesting conversation with Jim Bowden about this. What's happening is free agents are going in and, free agents will go in to meet with the Yankees and they'll meet with, Hank and Hal Steinbrenner. They'll meet with Brian Cashman, Aaron Boone, if he's still got a job. Like that's who's meeting with the free agents over there. If you go to visit LA, not only are you meeting Andrew Friedman and Dave Roberts, but Ohtani, Freddie Freeman, and Mookie Betts are all in those meetings as well. The players themselves. And let's face it, Betts and Freeman are two of the absolute greatest. All right. Personality wise, talent wise, everything about them, and those are the guys. Now they're all sitting there with Ohtani and they're the ones recruiting. So Glasnow, he gets to meet with all of those guys, figure out what the game plan is. And he's like, yes, I'm in. Done. The negotiations for Yamamoto. I mean, the Dodgers are going to be able to, just open up that piggy bank there. So not only do you have, the Ohtani lure from playing together in Japan, but now, yes, we can do the money and surround you with superstars. So this is, it's very interesting to see what this is going to do. This is either going to set a really bad precedent. Other teams are going to do this. And we're going to have for those of you who don't recall, Bobby Bonilla continues to get $1 million a year paid to him. I think it's like on the 4th of July every year with what he's being paid. Oh yeah. Ohtani, the new Bobby Bonilla, Chris B. What's up, Chris? That's kind of where it's at right now. And that's we're going to see these kind of deferred payments and other organizations are going to be like, well, damn, we have to try and keep up. So, this is going to be crazy. It is absolutely because that every other owner and GM is scheming to try and figure all of this out. So, just something to watch. And we're going to have amazing stuff coming out at the Fantasy Alarm MLB draft guide, which is going to drop early in January. I think mid-month, the 15th or something like that. The first installment of the living draft guide that drops then, and you're going to have all sorts of crazy stuff in there. You're not only going to have your rookies, your sleepers, your busts, your league setups, and all that other stuff. Jim Bowden and I are doing a special show giving the state of baseball and the overview of what we think as far as teams go from both a betting and a fantasy baseball drafting perspective. Get your best ball drafts going, all of that stuff. All of that's going to be exclusive in that Fantasy Alarm MLB draft guide. And so, listen, right now it is absolutely crazy. Jim Bowden is doing all this stuff with MLB Network Radio, getting into all of what's happening here. So that's going to be something nice and exclusive to Fantasy Alarm subscribers. If you don't subscribe, you're making a mistake, right? We got a holiday promo going on right now. I'm sure Adam Bernard will be able to tell me what it is. Oh, look, there it is. Holiday sale, first month, just $4. $4 for your first month. So you get it right now and you're paying basically $4 for the month. come on. That's ridiculous. Yeah, well, there you go. Do it. Promo code Santa. All that fun stuff there. Fantasy Alarm. I'm not here to shill product. I'm just here to tell you that baseball. If you guys thought we had a great football season, and let's face facts, we had a great football season. And it's still going right now. But with everything that we've done, Britt Flynn, Andrew Cooper, John Impemba, myself, Dan Malin, I mean, the whole team just dropping such unbelievable knowledge. Like, people are sitting there. I get more questions now, right, than I have in quite some time at this time of year. And that tells you that Fantasy Alarm subscribers are all in their freaking playoffs right now, and they're all looking to take down championships. Busier now than I have been in a few years. So that is an absolute great thing. And it's a testament to the year that we had. So, like I'm saying, you think football was great. Wait till baseball kicks off next year. And it all surrounds the Shohei Ohtani super team being built in Los Angeles. I go to the NFL right now. I want to talk about some NFL coaches on the hot seat. But before we do that, I got to give you my I told you so. You're damn right. I'm going to do it. I knew I was going to do it. And what better way to do it than here on the Getting Buzzed Final 2023 show, where I get to say, I told you so. I told Jets fans this months and months and months and months before the season even started. I said, if the Jets go after Aaron Rodgers, then the baggage that comes with it and the media circus that it creates is going to be a problem for the New York Jets. And what happens? Rodgers comes to the Jets. We get saddled with Nathaniel Hackett, right? Randall Cobb is on the roster. Alan Lazard on the roster. Like, you're bringing over these weapons to make Aaron Rodgers feel comfortable. And then, boom, you have no parachute. You have no contingency plan whatsoever should anything happen to Aaron Rodgers. And something happened to Aaron Rodgers. I'll say this. I did not predict the injury, but documented on a variety of shows, okay, I did say way, way, way back in the day that I have not been this excited about my New York Jets since 1999. And then what happened in 99, the first game of the season for the Jets? Vinny Testaverde ruptured his Achilles tendon. Done. Season over. Bye-bye. So I mentioned that a number of times. I wasn't predicting the injury for Rodgers, but when you talk about stuff like that, you need to know what your backup plan is, what your backup game plan is. And that backup game plan should have immediately been fire Nathaniel Hackett, right? And then start over. You got Zach Wilson, whatever. Like, go back, do something. I don't even know. Like, no, of course you don't want to overturn everything that you've spent the entire preseason creating. But we talked about the problem that is Nathaniel Hackett over time. He's great when Aaron Rodgers is quarterback. He's terrible with any other quarterback out there because Rodgers takes what Hackett says and does his own thing with it, and it creates greatness. And then all of a sudden, boom, right? You remember when Adam Gase was the quarterback whisperer after what? After he worked with Peyton Manning and won a Super Bowl? Please, that's ridiculous. So Nathaniel Hackett, this is the same way. I love that. What do you think it is? Adam Bernard, you just created that. What is in the trunk of Nathaniel Hackett's car?
Well, in one of our future segments, you might just find out what he put in the trunk of the car because Nathaniel Hackett's going to be getting a gift in a Santa six-pack later, so you'll just have to wait.
I don't know if I can wait that long. I will, but I don't know if I can. But that's a great nice gift. I love that. That's like, oh, look, there's holiday deliciousness right there in the back of Adam's room. He's got a stocking in there. So, I'm not all grumpy holidays. I will celebrate the fact that Adam's got a stocking up there.
Okay, I did the bare minimum. Maybe I put a stocking up.
Just enough to get by. You know, it's actually right down there. I don't know if you guys can see it there. I've got, you know what? Here. Because I can do whatever the hell I want. It's my freaking show. I got this. Now, I haven't used it here, Adam, but it is the Yankees menorah.
That's nice. That's nice. It's got the right Hanukkah colors too, with the blue and the white. I mean, that's perfect.
Right? I thought you'd like that. And then a gift from a darling good friend of mine, Skinny McKinney.
There we go. Who doesn't love a good potato latke? I'm sorry. I know some people call them potato pancakes. They're latkes, and they're delicious.
They are phenomenal. Applesauce or sour cream?
Applesauce. I'm not a big sour cream person. It's fine. I just, like there's other ways I'd rather have wasted calories than sour cream,
Well, yeah. Listen, you know what? No, I love the sour cream, and I'll waste those calories. It's on that bucket list of mine, Adam. So just so you know, is to go into like a Taco Bell and just have them with that sour cream caulking gun, just right there in my mouth, just right there.
I mean, I don't know if I could put that together by Tuesday, but we'll try. Okay.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much. So, all right, we'll find out what's in Nathaniel Hackett's trunk for Aaron Rodgers a little later on here. But this is my official I told you so. I told you so. I told you way back before we brought in Rodgers, and then once we did bring in Rodgers, and then with everybody sitting there with like, all the hope that Rodgers and the extra healing crystals and amethyst and lavender and whatever else he's bathing in right now to help this Achilles situation. I told you he wasn't coming back. I told you guys this ages ago. The only reason that Aaron Rodgers kept hinting that he was coming back, right, was to save Hackett's job before the holidays. That's it. He strings it along. And then what happens is 3 weeks ago, they open up the window and they're ready to get him, back out there. And, he's throwing the ball in practice and this garbage. They needed to run the table. They needed to go 3 straight wins. And what did they do? They beat the Texans, and then they lost the first game. I don't even remember who the first game was. Then they beat the Texans, and then they got their asses whooped by the Dolphins. And then, right after getting your ass kicked by the Dolphins, then Rodgers like, oh, you know what? Oh, I'm not coming back. I'm sorry. I thought I could, but I couldn't. And then there's Nathaniel Hackett, who is now can't wait to find out what Adam's got. Cannot wait to find out. So I told you so. And I'm going to say this also for next year, Jets fans, go back and listen to my love letter on SiriusXM Fantasy Sports Radio. Go to the on-demand section. Go to Fantasy Alarm. Wednesday's love letter, I wrote it to Jets fans. Y'all are delusional because next year, what are you doing? You're walking in with a 40-something looking to make his way back from an Achilles injury. We're going to keep Nathaniel Hackett. He's going to be fine, right? Yeah, and so you're now going to have Rodgers and Hackett next year. I'd rather have Rodgers and Hammerstein as my running the Jets offense than this. So good luck with that, Jets fans. Mazel tov. Joe Douglas, Robert Saleh, I'll take them both. Hackett, no. Rodgers, no. I might have to use my birthday wish for Hackett. Is that bad karma? To use a birthday wish on Nathaniel Hackett getting fired? That might be. Do I have a survey says? Do I have like a ding or a buzz or something like that?
I'm going to say no because, it's your wish. You do what you want with it. It's your wish.
It's my wish.
I mean, you don't want the guy to be employed by the team you root for anymore. This is not like you're wishing harm upon him. I'm sure he's got plenty of money. If he loses his job, he'll be fine.
That is true. Unless he's got a gambling problem. 1-800-GAMBLER, Nathaniel. Don't bet on yourself. All right. Last but not least, just something that we're going to be looking at here. And this is one of the reasons, and I'll just say this. This is one of the reasons why we dominate over at Fantasy Alarm. Okay? Because while everybody's like super excited to look at the free agency and what happens in the NFL draft, the day when the season ends, that's my day. And I'm looking at like right here, Belichick, Arthur Smith, Brian Daboll, Mike Tomlin. I think all 4 of these guys are on the hot seat right now. So what I want to see, and while everybody else is sitting there wondering what they're going to do as far as like, coaches and stuff like our free agents and who's traveling to where and who's going to pick up on what team and what quarterback's throwing to somebody else, I'm going to tell you what freaking systems are being implemented and which teams are changing completely from where they've been. Like that was one of the things. That's how we identified so many different things here in the offseason. I'll give you my two best examples. Pat myself on the back here. Take a victory lap, Howard Bender. But Joe Lombardi going over to the Denver Broncos. I told you Cortland Sutton, the ex-receiver in a Lombardi system, what that does. Go look up Cortland Sutton's stats if you have no idea. You know what I also did was I said Kellen Moore going to the Chargers. Don't draft Austin Eckler. Let somebody else have him. If you've got one of those top picks, take somebody else. Anybody else. Look what's going on with Eckler. Nicest guy in the world, supports the fantasy community unbelievably. I love him for that. Square peg in a round hole of the offense. Kellen Moore does not throw to his running backs. I told you this over and over again. I even gave you an example. I was like, how many times did you complain about Tony Pollard not getting the proper work in Dallas? And then boom. Now what? We suddenly think that, well, he's gonna use Austin Eckler, or he's gonna cater to Kellen Moore is gonna change his entire system because Austin Eckler can't go between the tackles and he needs to only catch passes? No. Wasn't happening that way. And look at it. So now I'm sitting here and I'm like, all right, well, Arthur Smith, let's say Arthur Smith gets fired, which please make that happen. Show me who the coordinator is coming in here, because that's an offense that I want to tap into. That's an offense that I want to be all over it. Chris B. Howard with the good old Barry Horowitz. Love to see it. Barry Horowitz, like the old jobber professional wrestler from the 80s, Barry Horowitz. Interesting. Very, very interesting. See, this is what happens when I get distracted by the chat, right? Then it just kind of goes back and forth here, and it's messing up my stream of consciousness, but that's okay, because we can go back to the coaches here. But so the Atlanta Falcons, you give me a legit coordinator, right? With just a legit system. I don't even care who it is, as long as it's somebody who has a legitimate system that I want to, that I can identify where the strengths and the weaknesses are, right? That's something that we want to check out and we want to see. We identify, we talked about Rachaad White way back in the preseason because of Dave Canales' system that was going in there. There's another one, Rachaad White. We talked about him over and over again. I will say that we did hedge a little bit on Rachaad White late in the preseason because his offensive line just kept getting beaten up. But damn, I had him on so many teams that it was absolutely delicious. And I had him on a ton of best ball drafts too. So that was great. So yeah, Arthur Smith, get rid of him. Show me who that coordinator is coming in to Atlanta, because I am all in on that one there. Bill Belichick, listen, where he goes is going to be very intriguing. I've heard rumors. I've heard the Chargers. I've heard the Commanders. I've even heard the Falcons a little bit. So I don't know if that happens. But again, watch where these coaches go, and then watch what happens with Pittsburgh. You've got some pretty nice talent there in receivers and running backs. What happens if Tomlin gets fired? What's that new system in there? And same thing with Brian Daboll and the Giants. I mean, all of this stuff. That's where the meat and potatoes is going to be. Yeah, free agency is going to be great. The draft is going to be fantastic. Everybody's going to go bonkers over combine stats. Where you want to live is, where is the coaching and where does that happen? Maybe I'll just get an earlier jump on it this year. But I always like to take some time and get some research in on each system that we have there. But once that's out there, and I drop that on the table and tell you which players excel in this system, which players don't, pay attention. Pay attention. All right. One of the things that we wanted to do here on the show is getting buzz is kind of, not so much a retrospective, but Adam, get in here. Right? Come on, buddy, get in here. Adam, you and I we've had a great time on this show. I think we work very well together. We seem to be, simpatico in a variety of ways. And, listen, I think that we've had a fantastic time here. Overall, would you agree? Would you disagree? What do you got going on?
I would agree with that. We've had, we, like you said, it's sports talk with an edge. It's, it's not stardom sit-em. This is, the midday late night talk show that you'd call, which I love that. I'm going to be using that in the YouTube description moving forward. But nonetheless, we get that we do a little bit of that. We have fun with the guests. I think that's why they come on. And that, to me, like the game shows are always, that's the best part when we get to have fun with them.
That is definitely the best part. So what Adam and I have decided to do is we've gone back and we've each picked two. I mean, listen, we have a dozen, right, that we can show, but we each picked two, and what we like the most about it. Just a highlight for us. So here, I guess this is a best of getting buzzed. Do we pick who goes first here, or are you just going to run the show?
I mean, I think we can go in whatever order you like here. They're all ready to go. Well, the top four moments here. Our favorite four.
All right, I'm going to go. I've got to go with the top one, right? I mean, just start it off with like the biggest one, because this was one that both you and I were so in on. Was there anything more fun than when Sports Illustrated's Jen Piacenti joined us for Song Roulette?
That was good stuff. Why don't we take a look at a couple of the athletes she had to sing about? You want to take a look?
Let's do it. Welcome to NFL Players Song Mashup Roulette. Okay. Jen, here's what we're gonna do. If you want to doo-wop it, you certainly can. But Dak Prescott,
no, I got it.
60s pop music. Let me hear it.
This is easy. You ready? My quarterback's Dak, so you're gonna be in trouble.
Hey la, my QB's Dak.
Gonna throw to Gallup while CD's getting doubled.
Hey la, my QB's Dak.
You're gonna be sorry you were ever born.
Hey la.
Cause he's kind of big and he's awful strong. That's all I got.
Hey la, my QB's Dak. You are amazing. You are amazing.
Let's go.
Oh, all right, here we go. I'm spinning the wheel again. Chris Olave, wide receiver, New Orleans Saints. They're better. I don't want to hear this. Olave. Oh, I don't want that. So let's see what we got here. Spin the wheel for the job. Okay, in your wheelhouse here, Broadway show tunes. Chris Olave, Broadway show tunes, Jen. Oh, are we gonna stump you? Oh.
Okay, let's see how this goes. I see points are multiplying, and I'm losing control, 'cause the talent that he's supplying, it's electrifying. You better shape up, 'cause I need that man. And to his route, he must be true. You better shape up. You better understand. Derek Carr, this falls on you.
It falls on you. You're
the one that I want. Oh, the one that I want.
You are the one I want.
Love it, the one that I want. He's deep for my stat sheet. That's it.
Oh my God. That was such a great moment. It really was, because like one of the things that we do is that we surprise our guests with these little shows and appearances. They don't have the heads up for it. Although there was one game that we did where we actually each had to, when Brownie from the Disco Biscuits was on, we had to like exchange answers because we were doing sort of like almost like a newlywed game.
Correct. Yeah, it was like how well do they know each other at a breakfast buffet? That also was a very good one too.
Right. Shout out for that one there. But I mean, but Jen like blew my mind because she didn't have any idea of the players we were choosing from. She didn't have any idea of the song categories. Like, boom. So that was by far and away the absolute best. What about you, Adam? What's one of your favorite spots?
She also did Nick Chubb and Travis Kelce as well. If you want to go back to the old videos and watch the complete segment, and those were pretty good too. But for time constraints, I had to limit it to 2. For me, one of my personal favorite moments is when we had Bob Harris on, and Bob Harris and I have very, very similar tastes in music. If there was a Venn diagram, it would probably just look like one circle, pretty much. So it was cool to have him on. And yeah, they talked fantasy that day, but that was right when Metallica was touring. He got to see them in Dallas. I got to see them in Los Angeles, and we got to have an actual heavy metal draft where it wasn't just bands, but we also drafted actual metals. So I got a little snippet of that here if you want to take a look at that.
Roll it.
To do it. As you can see, I switched the slide at the top for the metals, and you know, tungsten is very, very valuable. It's used in a lot of things nowadays. I could easily go with a band here, but bottom line is there's a lot of great bands still out there. I'm still going to get my value. Give me tungsten for my metal slot.
Ooh, it's a tough pick there. It's a tough pick. It was on my depth chart. I'm not going to lie. Bob, you get 2 picks here.
I'm going to go ahead and lock in my 80s, 90s band here. If we're going through the hierarchy of the big 4, for me, Metallica would be the top of that list. Slayer would be the next band on that list. I've been a long time fan, discovering them in the late 80s. And Dave Lombardo, one of those drummers out there that redefined what double kick playing was.
All right. Well, all right. Slayer it is. Now you get your next pick.
And I'll take my medal, and it's going to be gold. What's the matter with you guys?
I mean, it is the value is it's the gold standard. It's what stood the test of time. I mean, people used to try and raid and steal for it. Yeah, the gold rush.
They still do.
Named after it. So, yeah.
All right. Bernard, what are you taking?
So I got to go back to bands here. My my 60s, 70s band is just kind of still sitting wide open, and there is some tempting ways to go there. I almost feel obligated since I am wearing a Motorhead T-shirt. Lemmy is God. We do know that. So I'm going to take God, Call of God here, and I'm going to take Motorhead with my third pick.
Just to be open and transparent here, when I went to the Metallica show on Sunday night, I was sporting a Motorhead shirt.
Ah, look at that. There you go. Well, at least you weren't that guy who wore the band's T-shirt to that show.
I'm never that guy.
All right. Well, 2 picks for me here on the wheel. I'm going to go to my 80s, 90s heavy metal. And while, Bob, you pulled Black Sabbath off of the board there for the beginning, I will take that solo career of the Ozzy Osbourne era in the 80s and 90s, right? Blizzard of Oz, Bark at the Moon, just an absolute amazing guy. I mean, I saw Ozzy so many times in concert at Madison Square Garden. It was phenomenal. And then I'll take my my precious metal, and I'll take platinum off the board right now here. So Ozzy and platinum, they kind of just go hand in hand, don't they?
Now, I'd just like to point out that I have a Santa shirt that is spelled Slayer on it. So this is Bob Harris approved. Rocking out, he's got the devil horns up. It's a good Christmas shirt. It's very. I have to get another one because I'm going to wear this one out eventually.
Has Bob seen that shirt? I need a screenshot of that shirt. Like that, I need to see that so we can send that to Bob. That is fantastic.
Now we still got a couple of more moments here that we did a heavy metal draft with bands, but when we had Chris Kuroda on too, that was pretty cool, huh?
Dude, that was another one of my favorites. I'll tell you what I loved most about this whole thing. Obviously, I love Chris, and he's one of my best friends, and his work is ridiculous. It's insane. If you guys don't know who Chris Kuroda is, he's the lighting designer for Fish. But he did lights for Ariana Grande. He did lights for Justin Bieber. He does lights for the New York Rangers, the Golden State Warriors, the New York Knicks. And he redesigned all of the entire lighting system. at Madison Square Garden, in the Chase Center in San Francisco also. And, so, I mean, it's amazing. So bands go in there and can actually now make it more of an immersive effect. And I can't wait to see what he's got going on in the Sphere in Vegas in April. That's going to blow my mind. But what was really cool was he came on here and we talked a whole bunch of other stuff, football and whatnot, but he started spitting geometry at us as he explained one of like the things behind the moving light rig that Fish uses and stuff that he had to do. So it's a nice little, it's a trigonometry, geometry, angles, lighting design kind of a lesson here. It was one of my absolute favorite moments. He does that. And I don't really understand how you can sit there with like one hand you're on the lights, another hand you're on the moving rig. Like, I mean, it's literally like almost like a flight simulator for a pilot almost, to see you going back and forth like that. Like, give me the concept behind the moving rig. Like, what was that idea for you to be like, you know what? I'm gonna make all my lights move all over the place.
Well, it's something I always wanted to do. It started out, I just wanted to have the ability to take the lighting rig and just change the shape of it. So instead of it being this way, we'll make it curved that way. And just in its infancy, that was the idea, to just be able to make different shapes. And once we started diving into it, we realized that instead of just making these static shapes, what we refer to those moves as are dynamic moves. We could make it dynamically, keep moving and moving and moving. And we could make all, not just your simple smile, frown, X. We could come up with some really intricate shapes by, sort of putting our heads together, me and my team, and thinking about how everything would work. The interesting thing about it is, for people who have seen us 1,000 times or people who don't, the hardest challenge for us was being able to make the light that's on the truss stay on the band member while the truss is moving. Because if my phone here is the truss and my pen here is the light, and the truss goes like this, the light is now pointing at the side wall. We need to figure out a bunch of trigonometry that the light stays where it is while this is happening. Because the light has the ability to move and the truss has the ability to move. So as the truss is moving this way, the light is moving this way with the math that we do. So it looks like it's not moving at all off the object or band member in this case that it's supposed to be lighting. That was the challenge. I want to use some profanity, and that was the mind F of the whole thing.
You can say mind fuck here. It's okay, man. I'm totally
that was
cool
the
with
mind fuck of it all. And it took us, I kid you not, it took 6 months of banging our head against the table to finally figure out how to make that work.
Maybe I wouldn't have had to go to summer school for 10th grade math if I had Chris Carota as my teacher, using like live lighting rigs as like my angles and geometry. I probably wouldn't have had to at that point.
Right? Show me how I'm going to use this in the real world and I'll learn it. Like, how many times you hear some kid ever say that? Oh, when am I ever going to need this?
I will say this. I have not used the words sine, cosine, or tangent since high school, just to throw that out there.
I like that. All right. Yeah. Pick another spot for you. Something that you like that we did over here, and because then I know you want to be in your holiday giving mood here. I'm still dying to know what the hell's in the trunk of Daniel Hackett's
It's
car.
not as snarky as you think. The gift for Hackett there is more thinking of like, okay, like we all have to pull in the same direction here. As much as we don't like Hackett, we're trying to get the Jets on the right page here. So it's not as snarky as you might think. But for the next video. The idea for this game, when we brought Will Brinson on, so we knew he had punchable face in his Twitter profile, but every time we talked about him, I kept auto-correcting to Bronson, like Charles Bronson. So we made a game out of who had a more punchable face, villains in a Charles Bronson movie, the Death Wish movies, and I think he genuinely enjoyed this segment. He even got, a nice accolade at the end. Why don't we take a look?
Let's see it. All right, here you go. Will, are you ready? Here's your first question. Whose face is more punchable? Is it Michael Parks, who played Tommy O'Shea in Death Wish 5, or Will Brinson?
I would say mine. I think you're more likely to punch my face. I feel safer about punching my face than Michael Parks. Michael Parks is he might shiv you if you punch him.
Dude, let me tell you something. I'll punch you through here if you say one more bad thing about the song Lizards. I'll tell you that.
I like Lizards. By the way,
Here's
I like
your next one.
That little Nintendo riff too.
From Death Wish 4, John P. Ryan as Nathan White or Will Brinson?
I think Nathan White may be more punchable. He looks like he's going to be a little snootier than I am.
Gavin O'Herlihy, who played Manny Fraker in Death Wish 3, or you, Will?
You're not punching Gavin O'Herlihy. Like that guy's he punches you. You don't punch him. Like me, much more punchable.
All right, here we go. From Death Wish 2, Lawrence Fishburne or Will Brinson? Who's more punchable?
I mean, Lawrence Fishburne, those glasses are pretty punchable. Like, you're like, all right, when maybe Matrix Lawrence Fishburne, I'm not punching, but like Death Wish 2, Lawrence Fishburne, I think I'm going more punchable. Although I don't know. I'm telling you, like that photo of me, they could have done some Photoshop on my neck there. It's like, but I think maybe I'm more punchable. That was a dogfight, 50-50.
All right, last one here now from the original Death Wish. Jeff Goldblum is week number 1, or you, Will? Who's more punchable?
Jeff Goldblum, infinitely more punchable than me, Howard. In every aspect of his career, Jeff Goldblum infinitely more punchable than me.
Jeff Goldblum, who's perfected this move. He loves doing this in every movie that he does. Well, Will, I say thank you so much for being here. Congrats on being part of the 2023 inaugural Punchable Face Hall of Fame.
Oh, right. Oh, look at that. That's a good list.
You're with like the classic people here.
The Farmer Bro, LeVar Ball, Brad Marchand, the Pet Boys, Machine Gun Kelly, and me. The inaugural Punchable Face Hall of Fame. That is fantastic.
I think he needs to MC the 2024 induction ceremony. We may have to do a follow-up with that next year.
Oh, I definitely think we need to do a follow-up on that one for sure. Oh, God, I forgot how funny that was with the Hall of Fame at the end. Unreal. So, I mean, listen, so many great moments. You guys, you can check it out if you're watching us, obviously, here on the YouTube page. If you go to Fantasy Alarm's main YouTube page, then just scroll down. You'll see all the Getting Buzzed episodes that you can find in there. Adam, it's time for us to be in the giving mood, right? Love the best of. That's great. But let's talk about what everybody's getting for the holidays, because I got lumps of coal here that I am just ready to dish out. Where should you go first, though, because you got to give me the Hackett trunk thing. You got to pay off the teeth.
Well, I think we got to get in the mood first here. Let's get in the mood.
And away in a Rudolph, shooting like a shooting star. Run, Rudolph, Santa's not gonna make it to town.
I mean, how could I not use that song on a show for you in a Santa segment? I mean, come on now.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Seeing me in the Santa suit, that's a weird one. That's a little surreal for me. But all right, fine. Ho, ho, ho. I'm going to give out my first gift then, Adam. My first gift is a pound of sugar, right? To every Jets fan who has been drinking that.
I got mine. Thank you.
Oh, beautiful. Look at that. A pound of sugar for any Jets fan who's been drinking that bitter tasting Aaron Rodgers Kool-Aid all year long. Got to sweeten it up with some sugar. You can't have Kool-Aid with no sugar. You need the sugar. So, Merry Christmas, Jets fans.
I was guzzling that Kool-Aid just as much as you, and yeah, I do appreciate it. I mean, I got it quick in the mail. We don't live that far from one another, so the rest of the fan base, he's shipping across the country. Give it a few days. It's the holidays. It'll get there. So now we're talking Jets, so I think, it's time to see what Nathaniel Hackett's going to get. Now, like I said, I'm not going to be snarky about this. And what better way to bond and get on the right page and get ready for next year and put the year behind you than some nice steaks. So what I got for for Nathaniel Hackett is a Peter Luger's gift card. Take Aaron Rodgers out for some delicious steaks in New York. Get right. This is what, like, yeah, I could have been snarky. It could have been, no. We're all on the same page here. At the end of the day, we want the Jets to be good. This Aaron Rodgers season coming up might be our only glimmer of hope for the next decade. So let's do this right. Take him out for some nice steaks.
I mean, you're the gift giver. It's all up to you. Absolutely. I sure hope Nathaniel Hackett doesn't choke on a piece of steak.
Be unfortunate.
Would really be upsetting to me. Anyway, let me just rummage through my my sack of gifts here. This one here, this is a favorite of mine because, you know, and I'm just shout out for the baseball world again here. For Juan Soto, I present to you this box of Reggie bars. Right? Ooh. Reggie bars, one of the greatest candy bars of all time, created in honor of Reggie Jackson, Mr. October. He was so beloved in New York. He helped bring the World Series championships in the late 70s. You know, so I want this box of Reggie bars to go to Juan Soto, just so that he can see how much a city can truly, truly love you and how big of an icon you could be. It doesn't have to be a candy bar. You want to do something a little different? You know, you want Juan Soto tequila? You want like how about Juan Soto bourbon? How about anything marketable that's just Juan Soto, like a Reggie bar here? That I wish that for you, Juan Soto. So take these Reggie bars. Nom, 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 nom.
So I have two things here. One, you do a New York based club soda line called Juan Soda. That's how you market yourself. Number two, I never got to eat a Reggie bar. It was a little before my time. What is a Reggie bar akin to that I would know at my local 7-Eleven candy bar shop? You know,
it's like a round Baby Ruth.
Ooh, I do love Baby Ruths. That's a top like 3 candy bar. So I'm gonna have to find some Reggie bars.
Yeah, I believe you can get them on Amazon.
You get everything on Amazon.
I don't know how old they are, but there it is. But there you go. That's my next gift there. The Reggie bars for Juan Soto. Juan Soda. I love that, dude. I love that so much.
Call me. All right. So we got a couple more gifts to give away here. So next up for me is the Houston Texans. And this is a well-deserved gift here. They're going to get 2 things here. They're going to get a PS5 and a dartboard with Bud Adams' picture on it. The Tennessee Titans had the nerve to wear the Oilers throwbacks when the Texans are coming to town and rubbing it in their face. And we all know how much the Houston fan base loves their Oilers history. It's more than just about pretty throwback jerseys. And they do the Love You Blue, too. They even take the damn slogan. And what happens? The Texans go and shove it right up their behinds and go and win, eliminate them from the playoffs, and let them know that, like, hey, we're not going to take that crap. You flaunted it, and you're done. And the Texans, well, you know, C.J. Stroud's still out this week, still very alive in the division, still very alive in the wild card. So you get a nice gift, the PS5, and you get to have a little fun and throw some darts at Bud Adams. So good for the Texans.
For the Texans. Yeah, you know, the funny thing was I was so focused on the fact that, you know, we've got a friend who's in the Circa. He's one of the remaining teams in the Circa Survivor pool. He's part of the family. And so I was so focused on Tennessee winning or Tennessee losing that game for his benefit to cut out more people from the Survivor pool because he already advanced with the Bengals, that I didn't even think about the whole like Houston Oilers trying to shove it in their faces kind of a thing. So yeah, screw them. Screw Vrabel and Derrick Henry and that whole stupid Tennessee team.
8-9 home games a year, depending on the year. You could have did it any other week. You had to do it when Houston came to town. You got your medicine. You got your just desserts there.
All right. I'm going to let you give another gift here before I give my last one out, because my last one's a big one. And that's, you know,
yours is a big one and a much better way to end things. Mine is, you know, I got 2 things here, and, you know, we're both out in the Bay Area here. So I'm looking at 49ers and Sharks fans, and what you need is a dose of reality pills. Let's start with the 49ers fan base. Is Brock Purdy is having a great season. He is not an MVP. I'm sorry. And the metric I use is if you take quarterbacks from any other team in the league when healthy, like I'm not going to say Nick Mullins or, with the Vikings right now, assuming Kirk Cousins is healthy. There's 11 teams in the league where the Niners would be worse if they swapped quarterbacks. Sorry, to me, that's not enough, especially when you have a rightful MVP candidate in your own backfield and Christian McCaffrey. Fred Warner, you can make the argument, is more important to the 49ers right now than Brock Purdy is. How much, if Sam Darnold comes in, yeah, they would take a little bit of a hit, but how much of a hit? You know what I mean? Where if you lost Fred Warner out of the defense, that's a big problem. So this is not to knock Brock Purdy, but to me, Niner fans, don't worry about the NFL honors ceremony the night before the Super Bowl. Worry about getting there. Who cares if Brock Purdy wins MVP this year? That's what I would be focused on. You don't hear Chiefs fans worrying about Patrick Mahomes if he's going to be MVP or not. They just want to win the damn AFC and get back to the Super Bowl.
And yet, for some inane reason, Dallas Cowboys fans still are hung up on getting Dak Prescott the MVP.
And that tells you a lot right there, doesn't it? What do you care about? Do you care about personal accolades? Do you care about? You could care about both, but I hear a lot more chatter about should Brock Purdy be an MVP rather than what the Niners, if the Niners can really do it. So that's on that side. Now Sharks fans, let's go to the South Bay. We go from Santa Clara over to San Jose. And most of the fan base was pretty good about the season. Like the Sharks were a team we came into this year knowing that they were going to stink. They're in a full-blown rebuild. They hired a GM with no NHL experience. And there's no expectations for this year, but there's a good size of the fan base that likes to say things like, oh, if we had kept Eric Carlson and Aiden Hill, we'd be in the playoff mix. Blah, blah. You don't want to be in the playoff mix. For what? To be first-round appetizer for the Vegas and the Kings of the world? You're trying to rebuild. Short-term pain, long-term game. Do you care about winning the battle or do you care about winning the war? Embrace the sucking. It has its benefits. I'm going to go to the Rangers game on January 23rd for the same price as a round of beers at MSG. I'm going to sit 12 rows from the ice. Come on now. Embrace it. Yeah, it sucks to watch a team lose every night, but at least it's coming. Learn to embrace the losing. Like Howard and I, these beautiful mugs on your screen have done with the Jets for many decades. I know you haven't had a lot of losing in your fan, and I got more about you later, but come on now. Just stop with these, we'd be in the play. Stop. You're delusional. Just embrace it.
Got to learn how to accept it. And yeah, without a doubt, embrace it. No doubt. No doubt. Oh man. I can't even remember the last time I even sat and watched a Sharks game. I've been out here for over 15. I've been out here since 2007.
I'm going to be going down for the Ranger game. And then when Connor Bedard comes to town, I want to watch that. So, hey, want to come? Let me know.
You know what? I do.
All right,
I do. I want to go to the Ranger game with you.
All right, we'll make plans off the air because you still got one more gift to give, and your gift is a much nicer gift than my gift was right there.
Gift is a much nicer gift, and my gift is the gift of love. Nothing better than love. I say it all the time, right? Love is one of the greatest things in the world. It does so much beautiful, it just has such a beautiful impact, and all the haters can be like, bleh, 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 bleh. But I wish nothing but pure love, all the love in the world to Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. I love this couple, power couple. Everybody getting all upset, whatever. Kelce not performing. Listen, Kelce was, I love Travis Kelce, but he was on the decline anyway. You saw last year in the second half of the season when defenses started to key in more on Travis Kelce. That's what defenses are doing right now. That's why Travis Kelce isn't having the year that you expect him to have or that you wanted him to have. It has nothing to do with Taylor Swift. Maybe there's a little side distraction. Maybe his mind is, thinking in some other facets. But you know what? I'm all about the love here. I'm all about the love for Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce. I hope you two grow old together, have beautiful babies together, like a pop star and a football player. That's what I wish for you in the future. So, you know what? For all those haters out there, suck it. Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift, love.
And I'm going to say for those Taylor's affecting his play, he's going soft. If anything, his mind's probably clearer at the end of the day, coming home happy, coming home to Taylor Swift. What are you going to watch on Netflix that night? Who are you going to go party with that night? He's in a good spot in life. He's still in that honeymoon phase. So I don't think I think if anything, it helps to all right, I had a rough day at work, but I'm coming home to that versus I got a rough day at work and I got nobody to talk to. No?
Hell yeah.
There you go.
So there are gifts that we're presenting out there. And now just want to wrap up our final show here with our final five. We've been doing the top 5 inept franchises. We saved the best for last. And that is that Adam Bernard gets to close out the show with the final 5 most inept NHL franchises.
Indeed, we do. And let's go through the list here. And we're going to start at number 5. And we just talked about them a little bit here. The San Jose Sharks. You set the gold standard for choking in the 2000s. People forget that. You get the 2004 Western Conference Finals against Calgary, the 2007 Conference Semis against Detroit. You had a 117-point season and lost in the first round to Anaheim in 2009. You blew a 3-0 lead to the Kings in 2014, and then the Kings went on to beat my Rangers in the Stanley Cup final. The whole history could have been different. Nonetheless, the Bay Area does deserve better hockey, and it looks like they've bottomed out and they're turning it around, but you've been in the league for as long as you have. You have 32 seasons, 1 cup appearance. I mean, again, like there needs to be more. Every other, the Kings won a cup, the Golden Knights won a cup, the Ducks have won a cup. You've done nothing yet. So, maybe you've bottomed out, but it's time for SJ Sharkey there to maybe have something to be happy about once in a while. I mean, geez. Next up on the list, the Columbus Blue Jackets. I mean, you talk about setting the bar for the high bar. No, this is a low bar here. You got 23 seasons in the league, 6 playoff appearances, nothing beyond round 2, and that was 1 time. No division titles. If you're going to be based in Central Ohio, you have to have a winning culture. Nobody wants to come to Columbus because it's pretty at any time of the year. I'm sorry, Columbus people, but I would think you would agree. They appeared to finally be heading in the right direction about 7 years ago, and that fizzled out quickly. They made their big free agent acquisition in Gani Gaudreau, and that's been awful. There's no reason to ever think they're going to be out of the bottom of the Metropolitan Division. Now, here's one I think we can all agree on, the Toronto Maple Leafs. Some might even have them higher on this list because they haven't won a cup since 1967. 1967. I mean, the history, the franchise is loaded with Hall of Famers, legends, 13 Stanley Cups, but and then when they stumbled through the 70s and the 80s, they had a bounce back period. And listen, I get it. Harold Ballard ruined this franchise when he owned the team, and that can have a long-term effect that takes years sometimes to recover from, but you're the freaking Maple Leafs. Like, you're one of the biggest market teams in Canada, and you celebrate getting out of the first round? Come on now. I mean, and it's not even like you're the lovable losers. We all enjoy your misery, It's like the Cowboys. We all enjoy, no, sorry, Britt, but we do enjoy when the Cowboys lose, right? As a country, you're either for them or against them. Same thing with the Leafs. Number 2, they make the Leafs look a little bit better, but the Ottawa Senators, the redheaded stepchild of the Canadian NHL franchises, they did have a period where they were competitive in the late 90s and 2000s, but 1 Stanley Cup Finals appearance in 31 years. They put their arena 40 minutes outside of the capital, which makes absolutely no sense years ago. The Eugene Melnick, not to speak ill of the dead, but he was an atrocious owner. Think Jerry Jones, but without the GM powers. And, listen, they're a team that had some expectations coming to this year, fell short again. You almost had Ryan Reynolds by you. You almost had Snoop Dogg by you. I mean, come on. And then finally, number 1, the Arizona Coyotes. 27 years of wandering the desert. You're never going to attract a free agent when they can't even buy a home based on where the arena location is. The hockey worked when they were in downtown Phoenix. Jeremy Roenick said in his autobiography when they moved to Glendale, it killed them. And it's just, they're a perennial laughingstock. And yeah, they're having a good year. But I mean, every year the Coyotes suck. They haven't been good since they were the Winnipeg Jets. So there you go. 5 most inept NHL franchises.
I absolutely love it. How have they not contracted the Arizona Coyotes? Or how have they not just moved them to anywhere?
Because Gary Bettman has this thing where he is determined to make hockey work in the desert. That is one of his legacy things. And he did.
It's in Vegas. It's working. It's great. You don't need a second desert.
But I mean, listen, the Arizona Coyotes make the Oakland A's look like the model of consistency in that regard. So,
Somebody give me Gary Bettman's number.
Yeah, we'll have to do that. But hey, it's been a great year.
Gary Bettman's number. You know what? Actually, I have a great Gary Bettman story. One day I'll tell you. I was working in New York, and he asked for a favor for his daughter to get into a certain place on prom night. So, lo and behold,
I went to the Marriott Marquis in Times Square on prom night. Had a good time.
Ooh, I didn't go to my prom. That's a whole other story.
All right.
But I'll tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us here on Getting Buzzed. Oh, bye, Adam. We will be back January 4th. We're going to take a little time off for the holidays. I got to tell you, we've got so much great stuff in store for you for next year. So again, thank you so much for being here. Please hit that like and subscribe button. Hit me up on Twitter at RotoBuzzGuy. I'll be home for the holidays and doing all sorts of NFL stuff. So if you got nothing going on for the holidays, just hit me up. We'll chat. We'll hang out. We'll have a good time. That's going to do it for us here at Getting Buzz. Big thank you to Adam Bernard. Big thank you to all of you. I'm Howard Bender. We'll catch you January 4th next time.